Hi, people. I'm Larissa. I'm a blueprint deliverer. And a blueprint deliverer, if you're not sure what it is, you want more depth, you can look at my other video explaining it. But basically, a blueprint deliverer helps people to get back on track. We all have a blueprint for our lives. There's certain things, certain lessons we need to learn in order to grow and develop as a soul. And we choose to come to earth to learn these hard lessons. Okay. One of the ways that we get off track is we get caught in a lesson that it's not that we refuse to learn the lesson, it's just it's so difficult to push us through this learning, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to kind of take a moment, if you need to reflect about this and journal later, what areas in your life are difficult right now? Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel like, oh, this is what I have to do? And what makes you happy? Is there anything that makes you happy? Before I talk about it, I just wanted to share my own experience. When the pandemic happened, I think everyone collectively, we kind of experienced this also. We were kind of like hit in the face with how we felt about our lives. And a lot of people just did 180s, right? A lot of people left their professions, changed their lives. They moved. A lot of people are moving. Um, so over the pandemic, I mean, I didn't really think about it until finally, everything just fell apart on me. I realized that I hated every part of my life. I hated waking up early, like with the thought of, oh, I have to go to work now. I hated being at work. I hated the people that I worked with. Also, oh, I don't want to scare you guys, but I was a teacher. And there are a lot of teachers who do not care about these kids at all. They're only a teacher because they like a stable job and summers off. Like, I'm 100% real with that. I had to sit through so many meetings, even okay, I guess this is like a side note, but when all of the diversity stuff started and all of these non-diverse teachers were like, why do we have to teach these books? Why should we? Why do we? I mean, geez. Anyways, okay, back on track. I hated my job. And it's not that I hated being a teacher. There were little pockets where you can really connect with a student and have a real conversation that I really, really enjoyed. But it was, these teachers that hated being there or they had different work ethics and you're just struggling. I hated people coming in to rate your classroom when the kids are doing great and they're making gains and I have the data. Okay. Anyways, I hated waking up early knowing I was going to work. I hated being in my school building. When it was time to go home, I was like, yay, I get to leave work. And then I'd be heading home like, oh my God, I don't want to go home. I hated the people like that I interacted with on a daily level. I hated seeing the people that I saw. I hated eating the food I was eating. There's just so I can go on and on. I really hated my life. And it wasn't until I was forced to be in it that I realized that. I mean, that's not even it. I mean, over the pandemic, um, oh, I'm not ready to talk about that one, guys. But it was just a whole bunch of things. And I just started wondering, like all of a sudden, when everything blew up and like I lost the person that I thought was my partner, everything just kind of shattered. And I realized how miserable I was. Like, it wasn't until you lose the thing that's the most important that all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, actually, I'm not happy. It just hits you. And I just started doing research. Because first I was like, do I have like a mental illness? Like, why didn't I see any of this? That is like the number one thing that just blew my mind. I never saw any of this. I never imagined it. I never saw it coming. I thought this is the way we're supposed to live. Okay, so I want you to think about your life. Think about, what is there anything in your life that you're really not happy about? That before you have to do this thing or meet this person, you have that feeling like, ugh, this is what I have to do. If you ever have that feeling, that's your soul, your heart letting you know it's time to make a change. Okay. If it's a person, you should probably get away from that person. Or if you love that person, just set a boundary. You have to make a change for yourself. Okay. Maybe there's something in that relationship that's hurting you. You can make a change and keep the relationship. I'm not telling you, throw all the people away, you have to follow your heart and do what feels best for you. And the same thing with situations. If you don't like certain things, you should probably change them, right? But this all goes back to childhood. So this is my second thing I want you guys to think about, journal about, just really think about this. When you were a child, who in your life was happy? How are you shown what happiness is? Who had a job they liked, who had friends they enjoyed being around, who showed love to themselves. I mean, obviously, who showed love to you, who showed you were important. Did you learn when you were a child that you're important? Did you learn that your feelings, they matter? That's one of the big problems also. I mean, growing up, and this is not just, this is everyone. Like it's kind of a cycle that just comes lower and lower and lower, right? And it just goes through all of our generations. We've been told to suppress a lot of things for survival, for survival. We had to survive and we don't have time to put up with extra things, right? So we push all of our feelings to the side. And if our kids show that they're not falling in line, you have to make them fall in line because you're trying to survive. Everyone is stressed out. It's just a cycle. Excuse me. So I want you to think, what in your life, these are the two things, what in your life makes you really upset? And how can you change that? If you could change some aspect about it, what would you change? And the other thing is, go back to when you were a child. Who modeled happiness for you? Who modeled that they like being themselves? Who modeled that when you're unhappy, there are healthy ways to make yourself happy? Who modeled for you that if you're uncomfortable, if you're upset, you can make a change and it's okay? I want you to think about all that, okay? Because we are programmed as children to follow the lead, literally, all right? We are programmed to follow the lead. So the people around us, they're the ones who stick to our souls, to our hearts, and we move forward with their energy because we love them. We want to model them. We want to be like them. That's what we literally look up to these adults who have their own problems, right? So I want you to think, who modeled these things for you? And if no one did, the first thing you should start doing is journaling to your inner child, just letting them know that they are important. Like, hey, little Larissa. Oh, your inner child is inside of your heart. All right. So just like remember, our blueprint is inside of our heart. Our heart, our heart doesn't our heart kind of our whole body is connected to our higher self, but I feel like that's more of like an up here kind of thing. In our heart is our inner child, our connection to our blueprint, what we're supposed to be doing. um but like all the chakras tie into your higher self. Anyways, okay. Your higher self, just think of a tiny little person that's in your heart and they're gonna like walk out and walk back in and they're always with you. It's just a tiny little mini you. So if you have an old picture, you can look at an old picture of yourself and just put it inside your heart. But they're already there. Sometimes we need like an image. I like images. I don't know. Okay. So I want you to just start telling your inner child you are important. How you feel matters. How you feel is important. And how are you feeling? And that can be scary. I remember the first time I connected with my inner child. They were under a bench screaming. I was doing this meditation. We were supposed to walk to a bench and the inner child sitting there. The inner child was not sitting on a bench. She was like in a fetal position under the bench, holding on to the legs of the bench, screaming her head off. Like it was so loud. I was like scared by this kid. I was like, oh my God, oh wow. All right. So it can be scary if you've never tapped in before and if you've lived a life where that inner child was neglected. No one ever told the inner child, you matter, you're important, your feelings matter, how you feel matters, how you move through life matters. That's what happens. Like they just get so traumatized. I mean, and remember, that's not, excuse me, that's not separate from you. That's part of you. They're inside you. So it's something you definitely want to heal. All right, so inner child work is definitely important. Like I said, if you can try those journal prompts, number one, where are you unhappy in your life right now? What do you think you can do to change those things? And I want you, I feel like this is also a video for another day, but you should be a little creative. If you hate your job, there are lots of ways to make money. I'm just saying, okay? You can tap into your heart, just lay down, breathe, and just say, like, start feeling it out. Like, what do I feel like I want to do? If I'm not happy where I am, what do I feel like I want to do? Where should I be putting my energy? Remember, your energy is important. That's who you are. Your energy is who you are. So why do you want to waste it being miserable? Why do you want to give it away to a job that you hate, to friends or family that you hate? Don't do it anymore. Keep your energy. Your energy is what transforms your life. Okay. So, okay, journal prompts. Number one, think about, where are you experiencing unhappiness? Okay. Where are you the most frustrated in your life? And what can you do to make a change to be a little happier? Again, you can lay back or sit up, whatever, put your hand on your heart, just take a few deep breaths and center yourself and just see what comes up. Okay. You don't have to have the answers. You have the answers, they're inside you. It doesn't come from your brain. And that's like another part. Your brain, just like when everything fell apart in me, I just kept on searching my brain, like, what is wrong with me? Do I have a mental problem? I never saw any of this coming, and my world is garbage. It's garbage. I hate every part of my life. And it's not going to come for your head. It will not. Your head, obviously, your brain created these things. Your brain said, I need a job to be stable. I need friends to be like a productive human being or something. All right, I need family because that's what you're supposed to do. All these things, your brain said, this feels right. This feels right. I'm doing the right thing. There is no right. Okay. So lay back, try to tap into your heart. Even if you can physically put a hand on your heart, like we have energy centers in our fingers, your middle finger is the most powerful energy. So if you can get your middle fingers close to your heart and just breathe and chill, and you don't have to rationally, like, where's the answer? Where's the answer? Okay, release that expectation. Just lay back and breathe and know that the answers are in you and they'll come out at the exact right time. As long as you say, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to be happy. Please show me, like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? What is going to make me happy? How can I navigate this job or these relationships or my home? How can I navigate this? And the answers will come. Okay. We're not supposed to live miserable lives. And sometimes, unfortunately, things have to blow up before you realize, hey, this wasn't right. All right. But you're worthy. You are worthy of a beautiful life. You're worthy of a life of ease. And if you need help tapping in, like I said, I'm a blueprint deliverer. And my job on earth is to help people get back on track to their happy lives, to learning the lessons they came to learn and moving on. Okay, you're not supposed to get stuck on a lesson. You just learn it and you move. And we forgot we can move, we can move, we can change everything, everything about our lives. We have that power. We're individuals and we are powerful, divine individuals. You can change anything, anything in the world that you don't like. Okay. You got this. I'm Larissa. I'm a blueprint deliverer. See you guys next time.